Hello. So, it's approaching summertime, almost Memorial Day weekend, grilling season, and a couple of my friends have actually asked for one of the toppings that I like to make for grilled meat in the summer, which is really easy and it's really healthy. A Gremolata with cooking is generally, it's a no-cook, fresh ingredient dressing of sorts, which you basically spoon onto meat. It's great with fish, it's great with chicken, it's great on red meat. Actually steak tips or something like that, it's good. Tonight we're gonna actually put on pork chops. Ingredients, we have a lemon. We're gonna do some lemon zest. We have some fresh parsley. We're gonna need about a quarter cup of that chopped. And a garlic clove. This is a big garlic clove. If the garlic cloves are small, you might want 2 or 3 of them. We also have extra virgin olive oil. I'm gonna do a little splash of orange juice for sweetness, a little dash of Calabrian chili for heat, and then of course, fresh cracked black pepper and salt. So first things first, let's start preparing some of these ingredients. So the parsley, you're just gonna chop up nicely. Again, you want about a quarter cup of parsley. None of the ratios on this have to be perfect. Ultimately, you just wanna make sure it's properly seasoned. All your ingredients are fresh, and it'll work out just fine. Get this done here. Don't worry about the chopping being perfect. Just make sure you get a good breakdown of the parsley. And I'm using parsley, but there's also variations of this where you could use cilantro, even basil for an Italian dish. So it's gonna go right in our bowl here. One of my favorite parts of like this time of year is cooking with fresh ingredients. I feel like when you're grilling food, you're cooking outside, it makes it easier to bring out those flavors. So, garlic, we're gonna mash this. This is a big clove of garlic. So I'm just gonna peel all this off. And our next move here is, I like to cut that end piece off the garlic. It's kind of a raw piece. Bigger cloves, sometimes I'll cut through the middle. And then just start making clean cuts through. And you're gonna wanna go through it a few times with your knife and then kind of turn it into a nice mince. You definitely want the garlic to be fine. Some people have an aversion to large chunks of garlic. My wife Michelle and I certainly don't mind that, but some do if you're serving for guests or friends. So just make sure you get a nice mince like that. I think we're in a pretty good place with it. So we will put that back on the knife and into our bowl the garlic goes. The next ingredient, I'm gonna rinse my hands off. The next ingredient, which I think really makes a Gremolata pop, is citrus zest. We're gonna use, because it's parsley, lemon plays good with parsley. If you were doing cilantro, you might use fresh lime zest. So, zesting a lemon or a lime citrus, for those of you that haven't, a microplaner works great. That's what I'm going to use here. If you don't have a microplaner, a lot of people have like a box grater for cheese, and there's a small setting, you can use that, and that planes that'll get you a good quality lemon zest. But I'm actually going to hold this right over my bowl. And remember, with lemon zest, you're not actually getting down to the citrus fruit. It's just that outside skin and that inner piece, which is going to add like a nice perfume citrus flavor, and it really brightens food up. It brings out the flavor as other things. It adds a freshness. If anybody's wondering what my inspiration was for making Gremolata, it was actually Bobby Flay, who I often look at a lot of his recipes just kind of as a model, but he does a lot of things like this. So that's a pretty good amount. Just want to make sure you end up with like at least about a teaspoon of fresh lemon zest. I think we're just about there here. Great. Okay. So the next ingredient is actually, I do like a little bit of heat. Not everybody likes heat, some do. I think food benefits significantly from having a little bit of heat, especially a dish like this where you're gonna actually be balancing some freshness from citrus, some richness from that garlic and that parsley. You're gonna have a little bit of sweetness from the orange juice, and then a little bit of heat pushes back nicely. So this is, you can order these online. These are jarred Calabrian chilies. A little goes a very long way. I'm just gonna do about maybe a half a teaspoon rather. And in it goes. That'll go a long way with adding some heat. Next is orange juice. You can also use, you could use fresh squeezed lemon juice. You could use fresh squeezed orange juice. Any citrus juice that adds a little bit of sweetness, but very light, less than a tablespoon. I'm just gonna put a little bit of a dash of that in there. And that just adds some sweetness and it kind of like brightens the whole thing up. I think it just makes it a more well-rounded topping. We're gonna do some salt. Just some kosher salt. A little pinch in there, probably about a half teaspoon. You can always readjust that, just not enough. And then I'm a huge black pepper fan, so it's gonna get a lot of black pepper. You can kind of do to your own taste, but I just think black pepper makes all food taste better. It's delicious. And then the last thing we're gonna do, we're gonna kind of let all those ingredients mix a little bit here. And then it's EVO olive oil. Olive oil brings it all together. So I'm gonna start off with just kind of a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, maybe 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Just gonna give that a mix. And you want there to be enough liquid so the vegetables, or the garlic and the parsley, are actually starting to sit in some actual oil. Like it actually, you know, it can kind of marinate in there. You don't want to overdo it, but so I've added a couple more teaspoons. There might be around 5 tablespoons in this, and that's about it. This is your finished product. It's kind of like a pesto, but it's more of a fresh dressing. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover this in some aluminum foil. I'm going to put it in the fridge. It's going to sit out for about 5 or 6 hours before we have dinner later today. You can also put it in a Tupperware container or something, and that works well. But definitely using the grill, and you have these ingredients around the house, or you got to pick up a couple things in order to do it. I highly recommend it. Great on grilled food. So make yourself a gremolata or something of the like, and enjoy your summer grilling.